There we go. Fantastic. So we're recording. Hopefully they will pop in at some point during the proceedings, and we'll let them speak as well. But the beauty of this is we're able to now have, like I said, up to 10 people video conferencing at once, and we're able to screen share. So now as an instructional tool, right, I can show presentations or applications or anything on the web that I'm viewing on my laptop and share that with other folks. I can also, of course, open up Google Docs and be collaborating with them live while we're on the Hangout, connecting with each other. So a lot of teachers and professors are using these for office hours, and I use them for pretty much all meetings. I mean, these folks over here are from all over California, all over the country, and we meet all the time on Hangouts. So that's Google Plus Hangouts to get us started, and we've got a long list of Google certified teachers and Google Apps certified trainers, so I am going to get out of the way. Hopefully the others will join us in a minute online, but Adina, you're up. Don't close what? I will not close it.
Don't close the Hangout.
Oh, no, I won't close the Hangout.
Hey, Brookie.
There we go.
Hello, guys.
Oh, there we are. So,
Hey,
Mute your mic so we don't get feedback.
Oh, there's Elizabeth and Dad.
So we may get some feedback here, I suppose. But Kevin, can you say hi?
Hi there. Hey, everybody.
Where are you, Kevin?
I'm in lovely Monterey, which is rainy and overcast. I wish I were there.
You are here. What are you talking about? We're hanging out. Okay, I'm going to hand this off for a minute. You can go ahead and enjoy, and then we'll pop over to you in a few minutes if you're good with that.
Okay, great.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to grab you this.
All right. Hi, my name is Adina Sullivan, and full disclosure, I am not Google certified teacher. I am not an apps trainer, but I am apps certified. If you have not done that yet, highly recommend it. I've learned so much through that process. And one of the cool things I found through that, kind of found by accident, I was preparing a presentation for a group of teachers who were learning Google Docs, and I was going to show them how you can add, and I can't show in mine because it's decided not to come up, so you can add someone to your document collaboratively, nicely, as an editor, or you can add them as someone who can just view, right? Well, now there's a new feature. You can add them as just a commenter. So you can now add folks to comment only, which is nice because they can not only view it, but they can give you feedback on what you have there. So here's just a couple ideas of how you could use that. You could use this on a document where you're trying to get information about a piece that you don't want people to actually touch. You just want their ideas, you want their feedback, you want some kind of brainstorming. One way I was thinking to use it with students was with peer editing, but another way was with blogging, introducing blogging to students. How many of you do blogging with students or started blogging with students? It's sort of a tough transition sometimes getting students started with blogging. So getting them used to writing online, getting them used to comments that are going to be online and how you need to construct comments and work comments. You could use the commenting feature in Google Docs for that. You could also use it as transition between paper blogging, for those of you who start with paper blogs, and actually going to a full blog. So that would be just one of the ways you could do that.
Show.
Okay. Okay, so Mark's got a document here, and he's going to go into sharing settings. And as he adds someone in, you can now choose not only just edit or can view, but you can choose can comment. So you've got your document, you're adding your information to that. And then once you share it, now someone can add their comments to a piece of it or to the document in general. Those comments are saved, and you've got the person's their login, little picture there and name, and a timestamp so you can keep track of when these things happen. You can also edit your own comments, which is handy because if you're like me, you've hit that button and went, oh, that was a mistake. Let me go back and fix that.
You get a sort of threaded discussion here where
You've
people
got
reply,
an excellent threaded discussion. And then you can resolve the comments. Yeah. So instead of making them go away forever, you resolve them, so at least removing them from being visible in the document at this time.
And there they are in your history of comments. So, thank you much. All right, Danny. Okay, so how many of you are in Google+? Good, good. That's most of you. And how many of you blog? How many of you use Blogger to blog? Okay, so how would you like to be able to take your Google+ posts and send them to Blogger? Because you can easily send Blogger posts to Google+. But how about the other way around? So what I'm doing is I love to find new things and share them with others, right? And that's what Google+ is all about. So I can put that link in there. I can say share. Well, I want to archive that as well and make it easy for myself to find, but then I also want it easy for people that may follow me and maybe like the things I share to go to a centralized place to find all that stuff very easily. So in Google+, you have circles, of course. Well, you can add people to circles that aren't in Google+ by their email address. And then you can share with them through an email. Correct? Everybody know about that? So I'm going to go to Blogger. And in the settings, under mobile and email, I can have a posting by email address. So this is an email address I set up. So iteachag.test. I did one special just for today, so because it's going out on the internet, at blogger.com. And I am choosing to save emails as a draft post. It's very important to save them as a draft post and not publish them automatically. And because if you publish immediately, you're going to share your secret email address with everybody in the world on your blog. So we go back to plus, and I go to circles, and I say add a new person, and I put that email address in there, and I created a circle with just that email address. So when I go to a site, and so let's say Lifehacker, how to get rid of Facebook timelines. Let's say I really like to share that article off. I can cut and paste that. So everybody knows how to share a link, right? You put it in there, and it gives you that nice formatting, right? And then I can add a comment. Check this out. Now, here's what I do, is I'm going to share this as public, but I'm also going to share it with that circle I created with that one email address. And you have to make sure that you check this box at the bottom. Also email that one person because they're not technically in Google+. I won't share it because I really don't want to do that one. And when you get to the posts, this is when I shared it with myself. But you can see here at the bottom that it gives that email address, which we don't want. So I just, in the edit, I delete this bottom piece, if it will let me do that. And when I say publish, it gives me this very clean setup on my blog. And I'm sharing, that way I'm sharing it out with everybody. And so that is how to get Google Plus to Blogger. And you have these nice, clean posts that are archived for everybody. All right, Kevin's been waiting patiently, so we're going to give Kevin a shot to jump in here.
All right, great. Hey, can I share my screen? Would that work?
Please do. That'd be awesome.
Okay, let's see if this works here. Share select. All right, let's see if this works. You got my screen? All right.
We see it.
Okay, so I'm going to start by just telling a story. I attended the Google Teacher Academy in the summer of 2010, and I got back to my classroom. I'm a high school English teacher, and I got back to the classroom really fired up to go paperless and have students turn in all their essays online using Google Docs. And I did that. And what I found out was the way that I was doing it, the grading, when you were grading 60 essays and commenting on 60 essays, it ended up taking a lot longer than simply just writing red ink on a piece of paper, on a paper essay. So I was a little discouraged, and the next round of essays, I had students print them out. But then I discovered the keyboard shortcut for making comments on an essay, and this changed everything. So as we demonstrated earlier, to submit a comment, you just highlight some text, and you can go to Insert, Comment, and you can type your comment in there, and then you can hit the blue comment button. But that little movement of the mouse actually, when multiplied hundreds of times, takes up a lot of time. But if you just highlight the text, and if you've got a Mac, you just do Option-Command-M, that automatically brings up that comment window, and that is much, much faster. And then you type your comment, and then rather than grabbing your mouse again and hovering over the blue comment button, if you just hit Control Return, it'll submit it. And I guarantee you that will save you hours when grading stacks of paper, and it has been the tipping point for me to going back to paperless, and I'm so stoked on that.
That's a good one. I just learned something new, Kevin. Thanks.
Cool.
So it's Option-Command-M to paste it in, and then what was the Alt-Return? Is that what you did?
Control Return to submit, and that's a big one.
Awesome. Great stuff. Thanks, Kevin.
Yep.
All right. Jim, are you ready to roll? All right.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. So I'm going to show you the Google Art Project. How many people have heard of it? Oh, good. It's I was just told it's not that new, Jim. So I thought it would be nice to just kind of walk you through it a little bit. The Google Art Project. I wanted to sign in real quick, and then I will talk about it. Do not notice my password, okay? It would just be so awkward. Memorize. Okay. By the way, once you become a Google certified teacher, they do nothing but heckle you from the side of the room. So anyways, I just want to start with this. Google Art Project is something that I think they started with like last summer or so. And Google has partnered up with Google Maps people to go around to different museums and tour these museums. Now, they're using like Google Street View type of technology to go around different museums, and then when you get to a picture you like, you can actually click on the plus button, and it opens up that picture for you. Now, they're using gigapixel type of photography, right? So what I love about Google Art Project is you can sign in and then come down here and create your own collections. So I have one that's called Amazing, and just to show you the power of these photographs. Like here's the St. Francis picture, right? Now, who did it? Did anybody know? Well, I tell you what. If you look, I got to do this right. Right down in here. Down at the very, very base of this picture is the artist's name. Now, who would have known? You would never get to see a picture that close if you went to the museum. If you stuck your face in there, somebody's going to pull you away, you know? So it's an amazing sort of piece. But the thing about it is, okay, so I don't teach art. Who cares, right? But the thing is that I teach videography. I'm a video teacher. when I go into museums and I start looking at pictures, we start looking at color. We start looking at how, and usage, and maybe how the framing of the picture works out. So we can start going around. Of course, you know, one of my favorite artists is Van Gogh, and yeah, I go in there and really look at the depth of color and look at the stroke on the in the paint. It's amazing. So the other thing you can also use it for is history. Marie Antoinette, right? Do you know this? Have you seen this picture before? It's hanging in the Palace of Versailles. So if you wanted to, you could go and do a street view tour of the Palace of Versailles and look at the artwork on the wall. But the best part about this picture is, one, that this picture, when it was painted, was not released right away because the people's hatred of the woman. And the other thing you need to know about this picture is that crib is empty. Why is that crib empty? Her son died, right? And so you see the other child pointing to the empty crib. Now that's amazing. You're thinking to yourself, silly, you're a video teacher. How do you know so much? Well, you go over here. You're not thinking that? So you click on this little plus button, the little I button, and you actually can tour lots of information, including video about the artwork and then and history about the artwork. That is amazing, right? My other favorite thing is this picture here. And this is an old you know, was it Peter Brugger? This picture is amazing because of it, you know, just the style that it's in, right? I love the awkwardly bent over woman here picking this stuff up. These badly drawn paintings. You know, this is all what 1500s, right? It's pre you know, classical Renaissance. What is that? Did I say that right? I don't even know. But what I love about this picture, and I just discovered this, is back here in the corner. Back here in the corner, these people are playing a game. What game are they playing? Does anybody know? It's a blood sport. That's a goose. That's a goose hung up from a tree, and the whole family has gotten together to throw sticks at it. It's an amazing piece of our history, right? It's the idea of blood sporting, and then the cruelty of this picture, and then to talk about you know, when something like that happens in modern media, you can go back and look at something like that. It's all happening in the distance. I'm going to tell you something. This is at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. There's no way I would have seen that if I had been right in front of it. Right? So good stuff. Feel free to tour around it, discover things. That's how I found out about this. I just spent some time walking around. You ever go to a museum? You have that much time? We have time to go to museums, but we don't have that much time to really dig in and discover that. I hope that helps you.
And speaking of not having enough time, I told all the people I was going to introduce you, but in the interest of better content,
Really, I wasn't going to tell you this, but Mark just taught me this like 2 minutes ago. If you go here, oh, I hate being on camera. If you go there to File, and then you choose Incognito Window, for some reason it gives you a... One of the useful functions is not log into anymore. Already log into your Google account, you're not logged in anymore. So you can go log into another Google. So we've been using these with duplication because my account is still logged in on the window with Hangout, and they're just looking at the incognito windows, logging into their other accounts, and generally what they've got to show you. So fire away. How many of you use Google Forms? Okay, if you're not using Google Forms, you need to use Google Forms. But I'm going to show you very quickly how you can take Google Forms more from just collecting information to turning it into a map. And then if I have it just a little time more, I'm going to show you really quick how you can take it into a Wordle. I host projects for teachers online, and I like being able to take their data and then share it as a map so that people can see it. And I was doing it with a program called Map-A-List, and if you haven't used Map-A-List online, it's just mapalist.org. But then Google brought this thing called Fusion that tied it all together. So right down here, you'll see that this is my Skype names, and it's the Excel document that was created from the Google Forms. But up here,
you'll see that there's Skype names again, but it has a different icon on it. And that is, I might have reversed those two. One of them is, I reversed them. Go back, go back, go back. Anyway, one of them is the Excel document, and the other one is the Google Fusion. So when you take it into Google Fusion, and you're going to go up here first, I'm sorry, I'm going to go to my location, and I have to tell it that my location is, and I don't know why it's not logging in for me, but I have to tell it that that is a location, that that zip code column is a location. And when you do that, then you can go visualize map, and it's going to turn it into a document, a map, that when you hover over the image, it gives you the information that you collected from that Google form. Map-a-List will only show you 2 to 3 things. Fusion will show you as much as it was in that form, which is pretty cool. Are they talking in the background? Hi, Wendy. I met Wendy last night.
All y'all need to mute over there, folks. We're getting lots of background noise, but welcome.
Back to here. Back to here. Anyway, and the other thing you need to know when you're collecting your data in your Google form, you need to make sure that your location area, which is a zip code, that you format your data as plain text. Because if you forget to change it right here to plain text, anybody that you're collecting information from that lives on the East Coast with a 0 in their zip code, the 0 will drop off. Make sense? Cool. Okay, really quick, the other thing is if you use Wordle, which I absolutely adore Wordle, if you use Wordle and you collect it in a form, like let's say you're doing a book study with your students and you ask them to give 3 words to explain the book that they just read, and it comes in a Google form, you can highlight it, copy it, take it to Wordle, paste, and boom, you have a reflection of what your students just thought about the book they just read. That's me. I'm done.
Okay, we're at the halfway point for presenters. We've got to keep it snappy. Speaking of keeping it snappy, Dr. Harold, you want to do your thing?
All right, I'm not at my best vocally, but it turns out Google has found a way to cure that. Just kidding. All right. So if you've ever know this, I'm in Chrome, so I'm in the Chrome browser. If you're in something other than Chrome, so let's say you log into some site that you really want to work with, right? So that site is up. You can see the tab. It's on its way. There it is. And as you're getting ready to work with it, something goes wrong, right? So the cat throws up, or you figure out that you left the guacamole out. Something goes wrong, right? Then when you come back, you don't realize that this is the important tab, and you close it. And at that point, you're like, no. Control-Shift-T. Does it work the same way on a Mac? Command? All right. So on a Mac, Command-Shift-T. What if it's not that on a Mac? So don't do this in an incognito one, right? But Control-T opens a tab, and Control-Shift-T will bring back the last tab that you were on, which is a really nice thing for sure. Because I don't know how many times I've been like, don't. So anyway, there you go. Hope that's a good tidbit for you. I'm out.
I'm going to piggyback on that, as we used to say at the county office. There we go. If I bring up a window and I've created a tab now, right, and I go to CNN or whatever it was that Rushton showed, right? Oh, that's fast. Anyway, all right, let's say I close my Google Plus tab on accident, right? I close that tab, I go, oh no, I want it back. I do Shift-Command-T, I get it back. Better yet, I can actually go into my history and I can see whole closed windows Like if you're a tab fanatic like me, sometimes I'm working with like say 18 pinned tabs that I'm working on that day, and I close the window, and then it's really oh no, right? So I just come here and go, oh, 5 tabs, restore all tabs. Oops. Restore all tabs. My entire window comes back with all the tabs. Good times, huh? Yeah. All right, yeah. All right, so Elizabeth.
Hi, sorry, I got to do a quick switch over. Get there. Get there. No. All right, so I'm going to talk to you real quickly about Google Translate. How many of you have ever used Google Translate? Great. So you're like, you can't teach me anything new. Yeah, I'll show you. All right, so this right here, I just put my notes. You go to translate.google.com for those of you who haven't used it. Translates into like a billion languages, whatever you need. But a couple things that are new. If you translate anything into any piece of text and you hover over what the translated information is and you click on it, it gives you alternates. Ooh, everybody with me? Ooh. All right, so, and that's interesting and okay, whatever. But there's more than just this particular site. If you go to google.com/language_tools, you can search for automatically selected pages written in automatically selected languages or specific languages, translate text, translate a website, use Google interface in your particular language, including, where is it, pirate? Anybody speak pirate? Yeah, there we go. Or if you want to visit Google's site in that country's particular local domain. So now you're talking about the variety of help me people, first source. Thank you, primary source. Primary source information from the countries from which history is actually happening. Not that it's not happening in ours. In addition to that, you've got Translator Toolkit. You can upload entire documents and translate them. So I have an FAQ about online registration. I uploaded this into this snazzy little side-by-side comparison. Look at that. English, Spanish. From this point, I can share it, invite people, I can download, open it as a Google document, do all sorts of really snappy things with it. And those are all fun and good and yay. Okay. But look what else I can do. I can take this and, hang on, get in there, get there. Ah. Okay, so I'm going to type in my school's website. Yay, Stone Valley SchoolLoop.com. I'm going to delete all the rest of this because I already know. And it gives me the link. If I click on that, and I wanted English to Spanglish, sorry. Translating. It translates the entire page. And not just that particular page, but it gets better. Wait for it. It also translates the secondary pages. So then if I go to this particular EdFund site, it will translate that as well. But yet there's more. I take the URL at the very top and I copy that. And then I can go into my website and say, translate to Spanish. Put that as a link. And every time a teacher or a parent or anybody goes on to that website, they can click on translate to English, translate to Spanish, and it will translate everything for them right then. Use whatever language that you want to use in their arsenal of languages. Now, I'm going to give you 2 real practical examples. Do I have time? Am I good? How am I on time? Anybody know? Anyone? Am I okay? All right. Are we counting switching over? 5 seconds. Awesome. Okay. You gonna get there? Ha ha! All right. Google Translate app on my iPad. Two really cool things that have happened recently. My mom had oral surgery. That in and of itself is not a cool thing. But she couldn't speak. And of course she needed her lunch, right? So actually she needed a new head. So I had it translate English to English, and then it speaks it for me, for her. You can't really...
I need a new head.
Did you guys hear that? So she was able to communicate with me just by typing in, I need a new head, translate to English. Last but not least, do I have time for the story? Very short version of the story. Last year I was an assistant principal at a high school. There was a freshman, and his name was Raul, and he was bordering on all sorts of issues, gangs. He was SDC, he was an EL student, stacked against him from top to bottom. He was really struggling. He wasn't coming to school. He's trying to get his mom in to meet with me. She finally shows up at a time when, of course, we didn't have an appointment, but I wasn't going to let this moment pass us by. So I call her in, but we didn't have a translator. And I don't speak anything except English. And it's my great paranoia as an administrator that I can't communicate with my community. I call her in. I have Eduardo come in. And I start to try to speak to her, and it's not working. And so I go and I grab my iPad and I set it down, and I say, wait a minute. And I speak into the iPad and have it translate to Spanish. I played the Spanish version, and no kidding, she starts to tear up. And she types in there, she says, this is the first time that anybody has been able to speak to me at my son's school without having somebody else in between us. At that point, I had to keep it together, but he, Raul, at the end of all of this, comes back to me and he says, hey, that what you showed me, that translation stuff, can I use that, like, when I'm in school and to teach my mom how to speak English? Absolutely. He goes, so if I'm going to be a translator someday, do you think maybe I'd have to go to school? Yeah, probably. You probably need a high school diploma. He goes, all right, I think maybe I'll start coming a little more. And he did. So that's it. Sorry, I took long. Leave it?
Thank you. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Excellent. You enjoying your COO experience? Right on. All right. So what I'm going to share with you guys is hopefully a solution to a problem that seems to be consistent across all curriculums. How many of you assign work to a student and you tell them they have to cite their sources? And what reaction do you usually get from the student? Oh. I'm going to share with you guys something that I have my students do all the time. And first, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I had the fortune and privilege to speak at the statewide conference in North Carolina last week. And my students know me really well and know how much I have an obsession with food. So everywhere they know I'm going, they're like, oh, Mr. Sheldon, what kind of food are you going to get? What are you going to get? So I'm saying, I'm going to North Carolina. They're like, oh, you're going to get barbecue. Yeah, I'm going to get barbecue. You're going to get a big steak and some ribs and stuff? No. What I did was I took that opportunity. I said, I want you guys, there was a small group of students, I said, I want you to do some research on the food anthropology of North Carolina. So that's another air topic that I'm very passionate about. I said, cite your sources, but here's the catch. I have my students cite their sources, and I'm big on information literacy. That's why I always say, just because you can access information instantaneously doesn't mean that it's useful. So they have to incorporate layers of critical thinking to be able to assess the value of the information, its logic, and its usefulness. They cite their sources, but then their sources are ranked based on the importance of the project. Those rankings of their sources are now their script for a Google search story. So I'm going to play the one that they did, that one of them did for North Carolina barbecue. Does this have audio at all, or am I going to hold the speaker down, the mic?
So let's just say that now I don't have a problem having students cite their sources. Because what you can do when you make use of search stories is they're still citing their sources, so you still have that done, but you're turning that into a script for their search story. But it's not just a script, and I'm going to show you guys what the interface looks like. You see, you only have 7 inputs. So what I'm basically saying to the students is, even if you have 10 sources cited, I need you to prioritize based on the importance and usefulness of the information for your project, which ones were the most valuable. That is what goes into the search story. And if you'll notice here on the interface, you can change the type of search to all those different things. So then I'm saying I want to see everything. And that's why if you notice in the search story, they learn the following. One, that cattle is not pretty much any portion of any component of North Carolina barbecue based on the geography, because North Carolina, especially in the east, is predominantly swampland and forest land. Number 2, you can't grow tomatoes, so they learn why there are predominantly vinegar-based sauces. Number 3, in the western portion of North Carolina, they generally cook the entire piece of meat like a pork chop and not pulled pork. And then one of the largest barbecue festivals on the East Coast is the Lexington Barbecue Festival. So again, search stories, great way to take what you already want your students to do, infuse an element of technology, and turn it into something that is more multimedia, which I guarantee you it does influence their intrinsic motivation to actually do the project. Thank you.
Oh, excuse me, just a question, please. Is it possible? Just a question, because I've learned that we cannot make a Google search story now, can we?
Can't wait. Google search story. Somebody's hanging out now.
Yeah.
Mark?
And we're back. Yes. So let me flip over to the Hangout. Hang on a second. No, where's the Hangout? There it is. Is this Rita?
Yes, this is me. Just a question, because yes, I was told yesterday that we cannot possibly make a Google search story now for some reason.
I don't know. I saw the create your own right now button after Ken, so give it a shot.
No, I was told and it was answered. My question was answered by a Google person, and this person told me that it's not possible to make a Google search story.
They've changed it. They changed where the link is.
Yeah, you might just try it. In the meantime, Kyle's up, and then Rita, we'll get you in there.
We'll get you in.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Kyle Brumbaugh. I'm also a Google certified teacher. What I'm going to show you a couple things really quickly is that how many of you are using Chrome? A lot of people using Chrome? Okay, so how many of you have multiple Google accounts that you use? Okay, so do you switch back and forth between your accounts? Have you seen the new thing that you can do now with the little icons? No? Oh, so if you go up over here to the wrench, click on the wrench, and go over to Preferences. Now, it will show Mark logged in right here. So you come over here, you come to Personal Stuff. So now there's only one person. Mark's the only user on this, and he's going to, so if I add a new user now, it now creates, notice how it opened a new window there? It's got a little icon here, so you see the icon here. So now the first user you see Mark is kind of this blank head there. So you see Mark's account, and then you see now new user, and it's now I'm Shady. Right? Now I can go in, and I can edit Shady, and I can give it a name. Right? And I can give it this kind of icon, and I can just say, I just put in principal, not KB Shady. Come on. All right. And I give it this little ninja icon, and I click OK. And now I've got this, and now I'm going to have to I can log into it. So now I'm here. I sign into this account now. I'm now logged into this account. You'll see now in the upper right-hand corner that you can see that account is logged in. I can now click on this icon, and I can now switch back and forth between the users, right, automatically. So now I can have as many Google accounts as I want to have open at one time. I can go all the way down, right, without going incognito, okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing I'm going to show you really quickly is how many of you want to be able to create a mail list where you can send a mail out to any group of people, right? You guys all have that need? Okay, so Danny kind of showed you the one little trick where you can move things over from Google Plus over to Blogger, right? Do the same thing. What you do is you just take, if you have any list of names, you import them. So if you get into Gmail here, we're going to use Gmail. You'll see there's my little icon there. I can come over here where it says Gmail with a little down arrow. I come over here, go to Contacts, right? I go into More. I can import. So now I can import any list now from a Excel file using CSV. Import that list. Once I've imported it now, if I come over to Google Plus, I can share anything I want. Come on down. Uh-oh. Come up over here. I can share what's new right here. I can share a picture, a video, a link, anything. I can just start typing here. And then I can add my circles here. So I would have one of my circles here. So I have one that's community here. And I would just share it with my community circle, and it will send them an email with that picture, that video, or anything else. And that's a real quick way for me to have a mailing list. Okay? And post to Google Plus. All right? No, yeah. So you need to sign me out.
You can sign me out. I'm just going to take this. And my laptop is like 4 years old, so I have to use my own dongle.
Well, like I said, I'll tell you, he tried to avoid that MacBook will protect you from the 3-year-old MacBook. I originally spent $80 on a new solid-state drive that I put in there. And by the way, it came with a chassis for my old drive. $80. And that thing moves up your line in 6.
So, how's that looking? Okay, so I don't know if you've noticed that recently when you go to insert images into slides or into Google Docs, documents, there's more than one, or there's more than just a couple of ways to do it now. Oh, that's not funny. I walked up here and I lost my Wi-Fi. Now would be a bad time for this. All right, so I'll do it in the form of interpretive dance. You got a wire? All right, I don't know. And let me see if I can get on this again. It sees it. Really? Seriously? Really? Okay. So I'll just talk through it a little bit. Pretend that I could click on the Insert menu, and so when you go to Insert Image, instead of having 2 options, now there are 5 options in New Presentations and also in Google Docs. So one of the options, like say you want to put a bird on it, you can just go and insert by URL, which you could do before, and also insert anything that is already on your computer. But the 3 new options are from Picasa albums. You're going to get into mine? Are you just going to do some drives? You got to put a bird on it, though. Okay, so you could, from your Picasa albums, which the stuff that's in my Picasa albums I'm not going to put on my slides, but there are 2 more options that are very, very cool. So one of the things that I do when I have my students inserting images onto their slides is they have to only use Creative Commons or copyright-free materials. And if you do insert from a Google image search, it's going to already limit it to the labeled for reuse so that my students don't have to go to advanced image search and check that because it's a little harder for them to find now. So like if Mark were going to add, just go to Insert Image, and then go to the Google Image Search option. Awesome. So then you can put in something, bird, or whatever. Okay, so it's going to click on a bird that you like, or a soup, and look down here. Highlight that. So you get the link to where it is automatically, like right there. You just copy that and paste it. And then up here, you'll notice that it says, results shown are already labeled for reuse. You can further filter it using some of the tools like primary color that you want to have involved, or some of this other stuff like which type. And then that's nice. Okay, that's really good. And some of those pictures are freaky, though. Put that bird on it. Let's go to this one. No, this one. So the other option is stock photos. I love this. You're going to have to put something a little more generic than bird. Like try geography. So you put in an idea. Okay. Yes? At the bottom, it gave a link to, when you click on the picture you're about to insert, it gives you that link down there. You're going to find that they're from like Wikipedia, Flickr, Creative Commons, Photopedia, and a few of the other more popular. And the things that show up in the top, it's basically doing a Google image search advanced so that it's only labeled for reuse pictures that are coming up. Like some rights reserved on Flickr versus all rights reserved. So if you go to the stock photos and you put in an idea, there's already a bunch of high-quality stock photography that you could use. And if your students or if you are making slides, you want your slides to be just primarily visual. You don't want there to be reading, because why are you standing up there talking if they have to read all that stuff, right? So the pictures are very good quality, and there's a lot of really nice stuff in there. But a lot of it is going to be sort of more general ideas than specific. You're not going to find like, I don't know, I can't think of anything specific right now. So you're not going to find very specific items. You're going to find more generic ideas, which is kind of what you'll see a lot of the times in stock photography that's used in slides. And how'd that go? It went well. I'll take my old computer and go home there. Cool. Thanks, Mark.
Howdy, I'm Molly. I get the award for traveling far to come here. I live in Minnesota, and people ask me, I can't believe you come to the Q conference. Well, a Minnesota person in March coming to Palm Springs, it's not that hard to figure out why I'm here, and to hang out with all you good folks. So I could be up here for a while, but I'm going to just talk a little bit about Google Chrome. How many are using Google Chrome as your primary browser now? It's one of those things where it's like I work with teachers, and when they call me and tell me something's not going wrong, it's kind of like that old, well, did you plug it in or did you restart? I'm like, are you using Google Chrome? And it solves like 90% of my problems. So Dana is here from Google, and she taught me a lot about this, how to become a Chrome master, a Chrome ninja is what she calls it. How many of you have been to the Google Bloggers Cafe? Have you seen that? Visit that. It's like the most fun little booth. It's kind of in the back of the hall. You'll get a cool Chrome button too. Okay, one thing, I love searching Amazon. How many people love Amazon? I'm an Amazon Prime member. But sometimes it's so laborious to actually open a new browser and type in the word Amazon.com. And Chrome is so smart that it usually even knows, like, oh, I know. Oh, well, you have to spell it right. It actually knows, since I go there a lot, that I really want to go to Amazon.com. But what happens if you, in Chrome, is if you visit any site that has a search feature to it, so like let's say that I'm going to search for, you may think this is something different than what I'm typing, but I was just telling a friend to buy this today. Anybody heard of a Hobo wallet? They're like my favorite, okay? So I was just telling somebody to buy it on Amazon. So whenever I use, if any site that I visit has a search box, then Google Chrome recognizes it as a custom search. But if you go into your options or your tools, I don't know why it's named differently on different computers, but if I go into the tools feature here, oh, preferences, let's go there. If I go into the preferences, right here, the search, I can manage my search engines. And as I visit those sites like Amazon.com that have a search box, it records it right here in this area. But like I said, typing in Amazon.com is so laborious that actually I can change it so that I can customize my search. So instead of typing in Amazon, I just want to type the letter A, and I want it to know that I actually don't even want to go to Amazon, but I just want to search Amazon from my browser. Okay? So I'm going to put that there. So now my little shortcut is A. I'm going to come out. I'm going to open a new tab, and I'm just going to type A space. And now look at what happened. It's searching Amazon.com, so I'm saving myself like, 6 letters and 2 clicks, which is really helpful when I want to search for my Hobo wallet and get it right now. And Amazon's so quick that it's actually going to be at my door in 2 days. So this is a good search. You can customize any sort of search. You can do YouTube. So I go to YouTube. You want to make sure that you go there first, and I could search for something like, backflip. See what happens? Okay, I just do a search. But now I go back into my preferences here in Google Chrome, and it recognized that I was there. I go to Manage Search Options. Here it is. Here's my YouTube video search. So I just want to type YT, because that's something that I can remember. Okay? Customize it. Click out of it. Get out of these so that I don't have them open. Go to a new tab. YT space backflip. That is your first Chrome Ninja tip.
All right, we have come to the end of our time, so I'm going to show you one last thing and wrap up. Again, if you're using Chrome, you can extend Chrome with all kinds of different extensions and so forth. I'm going to go back to my first user, my blank head, which apparently was an apt description of me, you all thought. Okay, great. Oh, maybe I'm not going to be able to show this. Let me see if I can. Nope, I'm not going to try to clean it up. I'm going to take you back to our workshop. That URL again was www.edtechteam.com/Q12. We'll get you back to a list of a lot of our workshops here this week. If you click on this one on Friday here, Google Certified Teacher Share, you'll see our opening slides. You'll see all of our information. I'm going to put links into what everybody shared with you today. I just wasn't fast enough with the wonky Wi-Fi. You can find our evaluation there. You can find links to the Google Teacher Academy and Google Teacher Academy resources. And, of course, you can find a link to the summit in July 12th and 13th in Santa Clara, 15 minutes from the Googleplex. I hope you guys will join us there. So thanks for coming this afternoon. It's www.edtechteam.com/Q12. That one.
Hello.
How you doing? Sorry, it's like a bombshell in here. Take this out whenever you're ready. I just wanted to leave that up for them. Oh, yeah, I do. I'm up to 76% power. I can make it further.